This video will showcase some common styles that are used to style tables in HTML. We're starting off with a very vanilla table. The only modification we've made is to make our table header span the width of both columns in our table with colspan equals 2. Now, let's start adding some styles to make our table look more readable for the user. The first style we will add will be a width of 50% to both the table and all of the columns inside of the table. Putting a width of 50% of the table will make the table itself take up half the width of the page. Notice that resizing the page will automatically change the size of the table so that it always takes up 50% of the width of the page. A width of 50% on the TD will also make every column inside the table take up 50% of the width of the table itself. This will make our columns take up half and half of our table to make it look more uniform. Next, we're going to add a border to our table. A 1 pixel solid blue border will be applied to both the table and every TD inside of the table. Notice what happens here. Our table has an outer border that is 1 pixel solid blue, and every individual cell now in our table, effectively every TD tag, will have a 1 pixel solid blue border. This looks okay, but commonly in tables, we usually want to have these borders overlap with each other. We don't want to see two individual borders. In order to do that, we add another style called border collapse. This style says that every border that shares an edge with another border will be collapsed into a single border. This makes our table look a lot more uniform and easier to read. Next, we'll add a standard height of 75 pixels to every TR tag. This will spread our table out and make it a little bit easier to read for the user. Finally, we can use what's called an nth child style container, which will change the style of every other row or every other column. This rule will either say TR nth child or TD nth child, depending on if we want to change how every other row looks in this case, or for TD, how every other column looks. Nth child even is going to change the style of every even numbered row. Rows in the table are started by numbering with 1. So our table heading up here is row number 1, then last name first name is row number 2, McCrae Jim is row number 3, Smith Jessica is number 4, and Trecker Justin is number 5. Reloading the page and applying this style will show us that now we are turning every even numbered row to red text and a background color of this gray. If we were to change the even to odd, we will now see that all of the odd number rows will take this styles. So that means rows 1, 3, and 5 will take the style. We can also use this same style on TDs, which effectively will change the style of every other column instead of every other row.